Hello guys. First of all, hello bitchlings, and thank you for everybody's concern about me playing the OUIJA, and I appreciate it. But today I want to talk about why I use OUIJA and how I use it safely, in a safe way, and kind of how I see using OUIJA. So as I've told you guys before, I am a head witch, which means that I do communicate with ghosts from time to time, with spirits, and as such I'm prone to use things like other tools too, like for example tarot cards, pendulums, other divinational tools, scrying mirrors, things like that. And to me OUIJA is just one of those things, except it does work in a bit different way, which I want to go into in this video. So I thought about sharing with you guys my experience with what happened when I played OUIJA, and stick to that if you want to see that. But at first I thought what you guys are gonna probably find more beneficial is the way how to do it safely. So one of the things that people kept saying was that there might be a darker entity coming through that, and that's true. When you play OUIJA, if you don't know what it is, I can show you my OUIJA, which is pretty funny actually. It's made out of a pizza box, yes, and it has the yes in Finnish, no in Finnish, and goodbye in Finnish, and then it has all of the letters here, and I haven't put the numbers here, but I could in the future. So you usually even have the numbers there from 0 to 9. So that's also what you do usually, and you can do it by yourself. And this is the planchette I use. It's actually just a bottle cap, and you can put 2 fingers on it. So that's how I use it. And the thing that people are scared of when playing OUIJA is that because it opens a vortex into your house, it can attract anything, and that's true. In theory, it can attract anything, basically. And one of the things it can attract is what people know as demons. And I talk about demons, but I'm not talking about them in a sense where Bible tells about them. I'm talking about them as darker entities that have malevolent intent. And how you can attract those is by being disrespectful, not cleansing your spaces, not doing your circle casting correctly, not closing your circle, which is extremely important, and not cleansing your tools. And going into the session with impure feelings, kind of like having heavy heart or being unsure about yourself, fearing. That's the way you can attract those things, and I'm here to show you guys how not to attract them. And I must say that I'm quite happy that OUIJA has as bad kind of rep as it has, because that means that less people are likely to play it. I say play because people say play OUIJA, but it's not a game. It's a tool of a psychic or a clairvoyant or a witch. And I'm very happy that there is this kind of stigma to using OUIJA boards, because it means that less people are gonna use it haphazardly. You need to know what you're doing when you do an OUIJA session, and you need to protect yourself and cleanse well. And what I want to say is that whenever you are feeling unsure, don't do OUIJA. But when I am feeling sure and I'm doing my things correctly, it's completely okay for me to do OUIJA personally. But there needs to be some ground rules you need to know, so let's go into those. One of the first things I never see people doing in their OUIJA videos in YouTube, ever, anywhere, is casting a circle, a protective circle around them. And what I do is I cast my circle exactly like I would normally. I ask for my gods and goddesses protection, and I cast it with my wand, which is here. It has a luck talisman here, that's from my family. And I use this to cast my circles in the beginning, so that there is a barrier from which if something comes in, they can't go out of it. So I'm there locked in this space with the entities and they can't go to my house. There's a barrier. I also do make it very clear in the beginning that I don't want any dark entities or anything that's not from love and light. And I say that aloud while drawing the circle, and I also make it very sure to have this kind of myself, having this kind of energy of acceptance, loving, light, and this kind of very positive energy. And I like saying a few affirmations before this, maybe taking a time to meditate. I usually close the curtains before anything because I just find that works better. There's like this kind of sacred space when it's kind of dark. I also cover every mirroring surface, because if you can see like light flicker from them, you get scared, and that's not a good thing in OUIJA. So you want to minimize all the like distractions. I also put my phone on like the voice is off, so I can fully concentrate, and I make sure that I'm alone in my house or with somebody else. You can also, to make yourself feel extra kind of like extra safe, you can play with another person. You don't have to do anything alone. I usually do it alone just because I feel more secure, because I know my own energies and I know what I'm bringing to the table. But you need to be sure that the other person is also bringing only like good energies into the mix. So I start up with my house kind of dark, light I've blocked with curtains. I've drawn my circle. Then I go around my room normally to cleanse it with elements: earth, fire, water. Earth, fire, water, and like, why is it so hard when I'm doing like this, but and air and spirit. And I go around the circle clockwise to protect it, and then I ask my gods and goddesses to attend and protect me if possible. And that is only when I'm ready to do OUIJA session, and I usually take the OUIJA board here, and then I concentrate a little while before opening it up. And I open it up by whirling it, putting 2 fingers here and whirling it 3 times to open it clockwise. And a few ways to be sure not to attract anything bad your way: of course your own energy, but there are also follow-up questions that you can do to ensure that there's a good spirit there. First of all, you can ask them if they are from light and love, and of course there are entities that can lie to you. And usually when you ask their name, if they don't give their name or they give a absolutely made up name, it's usually a dead giveaway that that entity doesn't have good intentions and you want to say goodbye to it. And usually people are trying to be way too respectful on this. Like, you don't have to talk to an entity like that. You can say goodbye, and you can force the planchette into the goodbye. And that's because you don't want to talk to that kind of entities. They might get riled up about it. They might even make your house have poltergeist type of activity to try to force you to play things. But I wouldn't abide by that. I would just say goodbye if you sense anything that's kind of negative. One of the things you don't want to ask is, where are you? Because if the spirit is going to tell you, I'm behind you, you're gonna get scared, and that's negative energy. And you don't need to know that. There are things that you don't need to know. A few are, you don't need to know when you're gonna die. You wouldn't do anything with that information, and it's not for the living, so you don't want to ask questions like that. Also, I would only do OUIJA if you have someone, loved one, who you want to contact, or someone out there. I wouldn't just go out messing about with certain entities, and you want to be respectful and polite while doing the OUIJA session, always, all the time. And you don't want to keep asking the same question. You don't want to mock the spirits, do any of that sort. You want to be quite courteous when doing these things. At least that works for me. I get what I give. And that's how I do it, basically. And so I ask some questions. I ask the spirit usually if it's from love and light, and I might ask normal things like what were your hobbies, I don't usually ask them about how they died because it's kind of a personal question and I don't really need to know that, right? Unless they want to tell me. I usually ask if they have something they want to tell me, because that's kind of, if they come to talk to me, it's just courteous to ask that, because they usually have a message for you or something. So I just try to be very courageous, very open-minded, and kind of like have good energy. If you feel like you're not getting anything, having a crystal around can actually help the spirits to open up the passageway. It can be quite hard for the few times when you do OUIJA for the first time, so you don't want to get discouraged by that, because like everything, you want to form a relationship with your OUIJA board. The more you use it, the more you get used to it, basically, and it starts to work better. And the more you get used to the feelings in the circle where the energy rises and things, that's gonna be also better for you. So yeah, that's how I do it, basically. And then let's get into, you've said goodbye, you've said it and you've done it with respect. And I usually do, when it goes to goodbye, I do 3 times counterclockwise to purify the board a little bit. And after that, I purify all my tools and spaces while still in the circle. And I use pine branch for that, and I whirl it into, like, I put all the tools that I've used, I cleanse, and I cleanse my own body and the circle. And after that, and the tools, yes, even the OUIJA board, everything. You want to cleanse everything. This is extremely important because you're opening a portal and you don't always know what comes through. So you want to banish anything, and pine is extremely good for that. Sage is good for that. Dragon's blood is good for that. Any incense that has banishing or protecting kind of energies to it is good for you, and doing that. And after that, you want to close the circle, but you want to do it correctly and very calmly, nothing weird about it. And then after you've closed your circle like normally, you can still cleanse one more time if you feel unsure of the energy. I usually cleanse more than less if I like if I'm unsure, so that's good. And then I usually open the door a little bit to let in some new energy. I blow out the candles, I take the curtains out, and I listen to some uplifting music afterwards to ground myself. So that's how I do it, because you don't want to linger in that space too much. Just like any other spell work, you want to have it gone while you stop it, and OUIJA is not different to that. Okay, how much are we? 13 minutes. Okay, 14 almost. So yeah, so that's how I do my OUIJA sessions, and I usually ask for my loved ones on the other side, and if somebody doesn't want to give you an answer, do not try to force it.